The Labrant family are one of the internet's longest running, most popular, and most damaging family channels with literal decades worth of controversy, exploitation, and misinformation that I am just dying to share with you all. But before that, welcome to the channel if you're new here. How lovely it is to have you aboard. There's no escape now. The ship has sailed, so you might as well stop freeloading and get subscribed. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at this family. So here we have what is without doubt the most popular outlet of the Labrant family, which is their YouTube channel, of course, Cole and Sav, otherwise known as just the Labrant Fam. They have a whopping 12.7 million subscribers, and if you go sort by oldest here, you can see that they've been uploading for 11 years. And they've been banging views the entire time. Both of these people had somewhat of a social media presence before this family channel, before they even had kids, I believe, as well. Or Cole did. So Cole Labrant was a social media influencer on Vine before he became a YouTuber. The majority of his Vines was with a comedy duo, right? It was like a trio of 3 people. He left, and then the 2 other people left as well, did their own thing. When he had gotten with Savannah had already had a child. Thus, that became the Labrant family's first child. That girl's name is Everly, and obviously she is the oldest of the Labrant family's children. When you sort by most popular, you can see, of course, the most popular videos on this channel all involve said children. But again, the thing that separates this from most family channels is just the sheer amount of views that they get. So you can see their magnum opus, their biggest claim to fame, if you will, being a carpool karaoke video with their 4-year-old daughter at the time, and this one has over 100 million views. They also have a video of them just going to the water park, and that has around 50 million views. Twice. And when you actually click on these videos, I mean, you can tell based on the way that they're marketed, right? The title, the thumbnails, it's very obviously being marketed towards the youngest possible audience of people on the internet ever. And this cannot be made any clearer by the actual videos themselves, which are very low budget, very high energy, and very much, it looks like home video. But in my mind, there's something really disturbing about that. I'll show you what I mean. Let's just click on a random video here. 4-year-olds performing Unreal dance routine. Amazing.
It's a packed car.
Yeah, that does look
Everly, are they showing?
Everly?
Is that pictures of you, Everly?
Wait, search up Everly's roast.
See that? It's putting a nut in its mouth.
Sure. That's a big nut.
That's a big nut. She just woke up from a nap. You ready, Everly?
So this is what I mean. It looks like home video. It does not. It's the sort of thing that you would imagine a family member of yours, maybe a cousin, an uncle, an auntie, or maybe even your own parents, putting on an Instagram story, and you view it and you never think of it again for the rest of your life. Or maybe as a wee memory for that kid to grow up and watch back their childhood on. It's definitely not the type of video that you would expect 37 million people to have seen. Like, imagine if normal home video of you existed, which I'm sure a lot of you have home video of yourselves as very young children, right? That part's not hard to imagine, but now imagine that it's being looked at by tens of millions of people every day. To say that that's not going to have any effects on the way that they grow up and the way that they live their adult life in a negative way, I think is insane. It gets a lot worse, of course, because as we continue through this video, you will see just the lack of care that these people actually have for their children and their willingness to exploit them by any means necessary for as long as possible. They've been doing it for literal decades now. Same thing can be said for Savannah Labrant as well, who has over 30 million followers on TikTok. Okay, by the way, I'm sorry guys, you're gonna... See, I don't know what they're beeping about. I don't know what that guy's it's midnight here. I have no idea what his issue is in London. I don't know what's going on in London, man. It's ridiculous. But I have to open the window. The windows need to be open for this video, for this recording. Jesus Christ, guys! Did they not realize that Dankyjabo is trying to record a video? They should all shut the fuck up, in my opinion. I don't even know how much of that is coming up through this, this microphone here. It's a boom mic. It's meant to be spatial, but... sometimes you hear the ambulances and that. But I'm sorry, the windows just need to be open. It's like 35-degree heat here in the UK right now. Also, you got to remember, here in London in the UK, a lot of the houses are made of, you know, the same brick that is used in like Italian pizza ovens, specifically designed to retain heat as much as possible. So 35 degrees here is not the same as it is in... I don't know, Arizona. But anyway, again, as you can see from Savannah's TikTok, a lot of the most popular videos have around 100 million views. And with Savannah's TikTok, genuinely, I'm not lying to you, I've scrolled through for like 10 minutes, and there is not one video that doesn't at least feature one of Savannah's children. You can see the 3 things: Jesus, my husband, and my kids. Those are like her 3 priorities in life, I suppose. However, the only one that appears in every single one of her videos is one of the kids. The Jesus thing is interesting, by the way, because the 2 are self-proclaimed evangelical Christians. This results in a lot of controversy later on in their career, which we will of course cover, one of which pertaining to extreme misinformation surrounding, and propaganda actually, surrounding abortion and Donald Trump. You've also got Cole's TikTok here, where he very adorably has a matching bio to his wife, except for some reason he specifies the number of kids. I don't know why that difference is there, but fuck-a-doodle-do, I guess. Now, before we go into more of the history of this family, how they met, and the more important things, like contextually, I do want to make it clear that there is an important distinction to be made in terms of family channels that center the children in every aspect of their career versus channels that just happen to show a child that they may have every now and then. There are plenty of YouTube channels that I'm a fan of that are huge and get a lot of views that every now and then show their child or their baby or something of that kind, right? I don't really think there's too much of an issue with that. Obviously, there's an argument to be made that any sort of visuals of your children is bad, and I don't think that's a necessarily unreasonable thing to say. But I think to say that if a parent has like no care or no respect or no love for their child if they show them online in any capacity, even if it is on a larger platform, I think that is a little unfair. However, of course, with family channels, and especially with the Labrant family, that is not an unfair thing to say at all. For me, the litmus test goes something like this. If your children being erased from all of your content means that you no longer have any content or your views go down massively, then you're doing it the wrong way, and you don't really have any respect for your children. And if you do, that respect or love is totally eclipsed by how much you love making money. Again, this is something that will become very clear later on in this video as they literally decide to pull one of their daughters out of school so that they can make more money. Because Cole Labrant, despite already being a multi-millionaire, wasn't willing to sacrifice a couple hours of work to help his wife around the house. Again, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but this is the type of stuff that we're talking about here. And again, that is minor, obviously, in comparison to a lot of the other shit that they've done. I'll show you one of Cole Labrant's old TikToks as well, because I think this is really interesting. TikToks. It's an old Vine. And just to be clear, like, these Vines have sort of been lost to time at this point. There's not a lot of these left. So this one is like, this is like the special, amazing one that slipped through the cracks and we can still view to this day. How lucky are we, eh? You can see a lot of discussion here in the comments as well about how, like, things changed and things, you could tell things changed when he met his wife. A lot of people are speculating that Savannah Labrant is the insanely religious one that sort of turned Cole's life around. Despite everything I've now learned about this family, I'm not comfortable saying that, like, Savannah is the reason Cole turned out to be a massive dick. I think these are just two arseholes who are building off of each other's terribleness. In that way, they're almost perfect for each other, but the issue is, obviously, they have children. Does anyone ever think about who Cole Labrant would be if he never met his insanely religious wife? I feel like he would have ended up like Jake Paul or something. I mean, he's not too far off, to be honest. It's very much like ex-Vine star generic narcissism. The group they were in at the time was called Dem White Boys, by the way. Yeah, there actually are a pretty big compilation here of all the Vines. Hey, can you reach it from there? Yeah, I got it. Whoa! This video is not going to become a watching Vine clip compilations one, so we're gonna stop there, I think. It's not that deep. Did you hear that? It was at a motorcycle. What are they doing? Again, it's midnight. No one's on the road. Shut up. Oh, what a mug. It's never that deep, dude. It's never that deep. For the remaining wee plot holes of context that I've missed out, I'm going to be reading from this article, 5 Kids, a Cancer Scam and an Abortion Controversy Inside the Internet's Most Watched Family. Back in 2013, Cole, now 29, garnered around 3 million followers on short video platform Vine with 2 mates, dubbing themselves Dem White Boys. The group of friends gained popularity after a comedic twerking video went viral. Promptly, the trio became internet heartthrobs, remaining popular with their 6-second routines to rap songs. When the group was hacked, losing most of their content, Cole went solo and rebranded his presence, posting more Christian content along with funny sketches and family-friendly dancing routines, and doubling his following to more than 6 million. So yeah, again, that's the catalyst for everything. The second that he started introducing the children into the content, views doubled. They started soaring, flying, and they're never gonna go again. Because there's no way you'd ever throw away the thing that made your videos so successful to begin with, especially after being hacked and, I guess, almost fearing your career for a second there. He was ultimately nominated for a Shorty Award for Best Viner. He then gained further popularity after his senior promposal YouTube video, which shows him asking Selena Gomez to his prom, was widely covered by mainstream media. He even appeared on season 28 of the reality show The Amazing Race. Savannah was a lot more popular on Musical.ly. I think it was a step after Vine, but one before TikTok, and it was a lot more Christian-centric content as well. Here's how the two met. Cole and Savannah happened to be at the same shopping center one day, Cole with his brother and Savannah with her sister. He knew he'd seen her before, recognizing her from social media, but didn't have the courage to approach her. Turns out she'd spotted him too, eventually sending her sister over to make an introduction. They exchanged numbers, but were reluctant to pursue anything at first, given their physical physical distance and age difference. Savannah is 4 years older than Cole and was a single mother to Everly. The pair caught up a few times, deciding to help each other grow their respective social media pages. They became fast friends and eventually developed feelings for each other, which they promptly took online, ensuring their popularity soared even further. In 2016, Cole proposed to Savannah, and 6 months later they were married, rebranding their YouTube channel to The Labrant Fam and posting daily. Their wedding video, including vows to Everly, who was 4 years old at the time, amassed more than 50 million views. And then here's a very important section regarding Everly's dad, so Savannah's first partner. Unfortunately, he's now deceased, but there was a lot of history here. Savannah and Tommy Smith were just 19 when Everly was born. In Labrant's book, Cole and Sav, Our Surprising Love Story, Savannah revealed Smith cheated on her around 6 months into the pregnancy. I dumped him, but we got back together after Everly was born. He promised me he'd changed, and I let myself believe him because I felt like I had to do everything I could to try to make my relationship with Tommy work for our daughter's sake. He hadn't changed. Within a matter of weeks after Everly was born, Tommy left me again, she wrote. They endured an on and off again relationship for several months, with Smith continuing to cheat, according to Savannah. He'd show up and swear to me that he was done with all that and that he changed and everything was going to be different, and I'd believe him only to get hurt again and again and again, she wrote. I wasn't a happy person. My mom told me she was always praying for me to leave him, and her friends praying as well. I know she was also asking God to send a decent godly guy into my life. I never imagined Cole might be the answer to that prayer. After Savannah moved on with Cole, Smith found happiness with Courtney Santea, frequently posting photos of the two of them with his daughter, Everly. In September 2022, Smith passed away at just 29 years of age. The article then goes on to talk about the controversies, however, we will be doing that in this video at length. All I'm going to say is that it's a good thing Savannah found an amazing godly guy. You can see from the YouTube channel, even recently, by the way, like these people are not just people who were controversial at one point and are like good now, like squeaky clean. No, if you look at this video from 1 year ago, it's literally titled, I legally adopted Everly, which is, that's fine, that's cute, that's fine, nothing wrong with that, and got cancelled for praying over Trump. It's a video where he excitedly and giddily retells the story of how he was able to meet the president for a couple of seconds, who wasn't the president at the time, sure, whatever. But yeah, pretty godly that, being excited to meet someone who was found civilly liable for rape when you have 4 daughters. Okay, now we get into the fun bit, so to speak. I want to start with this tweet here. It's quite an infamous one from Cole Labrant himself. He's responding to someone, so I don't know the full context, but it's basically him blabbering on about how he doesn't exploit his children, or they don't exploit their children. They would never do that. I'm just going to read this verbatim first. First off, we don't use our children for fame. We hate the fame. It's the worst part of what we do. Savannah and I both had large followings before ever posting our kids. They're our kids and our pride and joy, so of course we include them in everything we do now. I see you have kids. Obviously, the see you have kids thing is a response to the person who is criticizing him, but we don't know the rest of it, which is fine. That's what we don't really need to. However, there are a couple of very obvious issues with this sentiment here. If you hate the fame so much, if you're acknowledging that the fame, it's one thing saying that the fame is the least important or least enjoyable part of what you do. That's very different from saying that you straight up hate the fame. Because if you're saying that you hate the fame, that means there is something bad, there is something negatively affecting your life in regards to said fame. So why would you be introducing your children to the exact same level, if not more fame, than you have yourself? Like, if fame is that bad, why are you forcing it upon your unconsenting children? If the answer is anything to do with their well-being, then that doesn't make any sense, because you yourself are acknowledging that fame is bad. The only way it would make sense is if the reason was financial or for your own well-being, as opposed to your children's. The fact that you both had large followings before ever posting your kids makes it even worse, in my opinion, because at the very least, people who had nothing before they started making money posting their children can almost, it's not an excuse, but you can understand the mentality a bit more, because it's like, well, if this is the only way that they ever found they could make any money, then I guess I kind of understand why you might do it as a means of supporting your children in the future, as much as I personally disagree with the ethics of doing so. However, with these two people who, they were very rich before they even started making content, but the sweet dough of posting their children online was just that unresistible, I guess. So even though they didn't need to do it, they just couldn't help themselves. And this bit here, they're our kids, our pride and joy, so of course we include them in everything we do now. In my mind, if you loved your children that much, if they really were your pride and joy, that would be the biggest reason that you wouldn't include them in your videos. Like for me, if I was dating someone, if I had a partner and I loved them very much, that would be the reason why I don't put them online. I guess some people see that as like, you know, oh, why don't you post me? That's like, that shows that you don't love me. But no, I see it as the opposite way around. I guess it's different for someone who has like, you know, a relatively decently sized platform, as opposed to someone with, I don't know, 500 Instagram followers, I guess. But in my mind, I know how fucking brutal and dangerous the internet is. And if I really loved someone, I wouldn't want to expose them to that level of vitriol that I know they will inevitably receive. Like, I'm of the belief that in order to be a YouTuber or someone in this sort of field and constantly be getting comments like that and just sort of be able to brush it off and be okay with it, you need to be a little bit sociopathic. Not a sociopath by any means, not incredibly sociopathic, but you need to have like a small amount of those sociopathic tendencies, if that makes sense. Bottom line is, I don't think most people are cut out for it. However, it's something that's pretty difficult to understand unless you're actually in that position, I suppose. Obviously, there's a chance if I had a partner, they wouldn't give a fuck, or a child, maybe they just wouldn't give a fuck, maybe they're fully sociopaths, who fucking knows, but chances are, a couple of negative comments and their day's fucked, their day's ruined, their week, or maybe even their month. And there's nothing wrong with that, that's how most people function. However, not only do these people post their children onto this extremely volatile environment of the internet, like these children are now full-blown, like extremely famous people, but they also post them at like really low moments of their life as well. And I hate to say this, but a lot of the most popular videos are them at like dance recitals and places where they're not wearing as much clothing as you would like for a family that shows their children to hundreds of millions of people. And I always hate saying shit like that because it opens the door for weirdos to say something along the lines of, oh, well, you're the one thinking of them that way, so if anything, you're the weirdo here. And it's like, how about go fuck yourself, you stupid, odd fucker. In order to have a conversation about the safety of children online, we need to be able to engage with it in some level of good faith and intelligence, if that makes sense. And it's like, we're all aware that there are people, horrible people that exist, and we're all aware that a lot of these horrible people are online. We're already all aware that there's a huge problem with that kind of thing on the internet currently. It's why comment sections with any videos that has a child in it are turned off automatically if they're detected. Like, this is a huge problem. I want to talk a little bit about this. This was very famous at the time. Their decision to pull Everly out of school. I briefly mentioned this earlier because a lot of the reasons that they give for this drastic decision are, in my opinion, very, very disturbing.
Kind of goes with what you were saying earlier. Just like, I feel like, okay, we do have family days. I don't want to make it seem like we never see Everly. She's here. Yeah. But it's like a whole day where we have nothing on the calendar, like not a birthday party, no dance thing, no nothing, like, and just everybody's together where he's not like off filming something or, you know, like we're all together. So it was nice. But with all that to say, I feel like it started making me think about homeschool a little bit with Everly because, first of all, she's gone a lot. It would be so nice to just have her home more in the mornings, just to have like slower mornings, and just to spend more time with her like in the morning. I feel like would be nice rather than just like we wake up, we rush to school, we're packing lunches, hurry, eat, and then like you're off. And 3 days a week, I feel like she's just like gone all day because she dances 3 full days a week, sometimes 4. And so it started making me think like, oh, homeschool might be fun. Okay, first thing that you should remember is that one of the reasons that they need to do homeschooling, according to her, is because Josh, or what's his name, Cole, is always out filming stuff. Well, not always out filming stuff, but a lot of the time they can't have proper family time because he is out filming stuff. Now, for me, that's the first thing that you fix, right? You don't start with the daughter, you start with your husband, who has a lot more capability and reason to pull back on his career responsibilities because he has, you know, he's able to do so. It won't really affect him that much. And prioritize the children a little bit more, right? You don't put the onus on the child to be around in the house more. Especially because the reasons that they are about to bring up, this is tame, right? Compared to what we're about to hear, this is tame. But I do want to pause a little bit because I want to explain a slight bit about my homeschooling opinion. I very much acknowledge and am completely knowledgeable about how productive and great homeschooling can be for certain people if done correctly. You know, there are a lot of very dejected teachers that don't get paid enough if you don't have a great school in the area, of course, and that's something as well. There's a lot of subjects that maybe some don't see as very useful. Also takes a lot of time. There's a lot of wasted time potentially in many of the schools. The school system hasn't really changed in a couple of decades. There's like this new introduction of AI and stuff that might be easier to counteract if you're at home as well. There are plenty of reasons why you might want to homeschool your child. However, in my mind, homeschooling would never be an option for me for the same reason that I think working from home is a bad idea. I know that sounds ironic coming from a fucking YouTuber, but I would not recommend this lifestyle to 99% of people. I think working from home and not being around people constantly on like a relatively consistent basis will destroy you. The amount of people I know who are earning like 6 figures a month streaming and
doing loads of things that, like, you know, as a child maybe you dream of, that never leave the house. All they eat is like delivery food and stuff. They're just like, it's the most depressing lifestyle ever, even though they have more money than you could ever possibly imagine, because they're not going out there, they're not, and when they do socialize with people, it's like, oh god, fuck me, dude, you are just no one likes you. And like, to an extent, it's not even their fault, because they're being rewarded for this very hermit-like lifestyle, I guess. So it's quite difficult to pull out of that. And the only people they really talk to are, like, you know, the friends that they're making on Discord constantly, which is obviously fine to talk to your friends on Discord, that's fine. But hopefully you can understand how, like, toxic this type of work from home mindset can be. And that's for adults as well. Adults who have probably gone through a childhood where they were in public school and have socialized with people during their most developmental years. As an adult, we adapt we adapt super quickly as humans. So the second you get sucked into a work from home lifestyle, especially if you're making loads of money doing it, it becomes really difficult to escape. And I do genuinely believe that that can have pretty catastrophic effects on people's social lives and ability to socialize. I mean, just look at how depressed most people were during quarantine. There were a few people who loved it. Obviously, there are going to be exceptions to every rule, but for the majority of people, their lives, when it was a net negative for most people. Like, we need to be around others. We're social beings, you know? And especially when you're young enough to be in school. Everly is 9 at this point. She's 9 years old. It's like, you need to be around other children. You need to be learning how to talk to other people, because those early years, if you're not around anyone, if you don't know how to play, if you don't know how to socialize or have your company enjoyed by other people of the same age, I feel as though that completely fucking destroys you as an adult, and it's really difficult to reverse that shit. But the data on this is pretty clear as well. Like, this is not an under-researched field of study. Socializing for young children is extremely important, almost objectively, in my opinion. Again, that's not demeaning the concept of homeschool as a whole. Like I said, I'm sure it works for some people, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done correctly. And based on the lack of knowledge that these people, the Labrant family, have shown in regards to homeschooling, or the complete unwillingness to get a nanny or home teacher or anyone to help out, obviously not permanently, but just, again, to help out a little bit. It's like, no, they want to do it all themselves, especially as time goes on and people start speculating as well, like, is she even being homeschooled? And again, I know this sounds a bit harsh potentially, but I'm going to let this video keep playing out and you'll realize just why I'm being so harsh. Bottom line is, I don't think these people would be doing the homeschooling the correct way. But I'm going to let this video play out, because I've spoken for a wee bit too long, and God, what they're about to say infuriates me.
But I'm not the type of mom that can do, like, full-time homeschool. Props to the moms who can. I feel like I would need, like, help in that area. So I started looking at schools that do, like, they go to school 2 days a week and then they're home 3 days a week, which I feel like is, like, perfect for me. Like, still gets her out a little bit, because she likes to like socialize, and like, she'd get bored here at the house. And so I feel like her going to school 2 days a week would be super good for her, and then her home 3 days a week would be so nice for all of us. Just like, first of all, seeing her more, spending more time with her, having, like, more quality time with her in the morning. Second of all, she's helpful with the kids, so I feel like having her here would be nice, just with another baby coming too. Like, it's nice having an extra pair of hands around the house, even if it's a 9-year-old, you know, and she likes it. Like, she likes helping me out. So that right there is a huge issue in my opinion, because you already have an extra pair of hands. He's using them to record this stupid fucking video on his phone and smile like a mug on camera. How about he stops going out and filming shit, or at the very least reduces the amount of time that he does that and stays at home to help you with the children? Like, he's a dad now, you're already multi-millionaires, you don't need any more money, you've made plenty exploiting your children for a decade already. You don't need to be out fannying about to make, like, I don't know, a perfume advert or some shit. Like, yeah, a little bit of that is fine, because obviously you do need to make money to an extent, that's fine. But when your household is getting to a point where your wife literally is in dire need of help around the house, that is not, even if you're not the one to help out, the 9-year-old daughter is not the one to help out either, even more so. Like, you should be helping with your other children before your 9-year-old is. That should not be a controversial thing to say. To make your 9-year-old responsible for your other children, almost, you know, mothering those people that young, has pretty much always been shown to cause a lot of resentment, to have very negative effects as they get older. Like, no, they're 9 years old, they should be living life as a 9. Obviously, they should be able to, you know, get on with their siblings and play with them and do all this, you know, whatever bullshit. But they should not be mothering them the way that you're implying that they should be here, or the way that you want them to be. They should be helping you with your other children insofar as that they entertain each other by, you know, they play or whatever. They should not be helping you by providing an extra, like,
I don't know, changing their diapers or something, which I'm not sure, obviously, that's what she's saying exactly what they do, but something akin to that, right? Helping around the house, an extra pair of hands, or whatever she fucking said. I just don't understand why Cole can't be that extra pair of hands. I think it's ridiculous. Okay, here's actually a great comment I found on the Reddit that talks about homeschooling in, you know, regards to the Labrants as well. Like, the Labrants obviously don't prioritize their education, but it's also annoying to see so many people shitting on homeschool. Yes, there are a lot of conservatives who homeschool their kids to instill gender roles, religion, and want to avoid critical race theory and stuff, but there is also a growing population of secular homeschooling families that are taking their kids out of school for reasons like lack of action about school security, major teacher shortages affecting the amount of attention kids get while learning in school, giving their children real-life experiences instead of reading about said experiences in textbooks, appreciating nature in real life, learning from trusted family members rather than burnt-out teachers, etc. It's frustrating to see all of these negative assumptions about homeschool when, if done properly, it can be such an amazing method of learning for children. Yeah, I mean, that is all completely reasonable. But again, the if done properly thing, I think there is instrumental to the argument. But I do agree with them. I think it's a great comment. Okay, next in the Labrant family history is when they, okay, this is gonna sound crazy. They clickbaited their 2-year-old daughter getting cancer and scared the world into thinking their 2-year-old was dying of cancer, only to reveal that it was a big prank, I guess. So here's the video thumbnail here, with the title being "She Got Diagnosed with Cancer, full stop, documentary." That full stop says a lot. That's how you know shit is serious. And just so you guys know, this was left on premiere mode for hours before the actual video was up, and everyone in chat was terrified that their daughter, Posey, was dying of cancer. They did not do anything to correct this misinformation. And the first line of the description is, "This documentary explains the health scare we had with our little Posey. We praise God that she is okay and healthy, but not all parents receive the same good news like we did. We felt so led to help share the stories of these 3 families to help raise awareness and hopefully get the attention of government leaders who can increase the pediatric cancer research budget to more than 4%. So the description does kind of imply that the video isn't completely about Posey. However, we all know that descriptions are very rarely read by people, and when the title and thumbnail are this obviously clickbaity, I don't think it justifies it too much at all. Especially because the video is about 3 people, right? So why have you put the title as "She Got Diagnosed with Cancer"? Are these people just so conservative, so inhumanly right-wing, that the word "they" isn't even in their vocabulary, even when referencing multiple people? Are they so anti-he, she pronouns that they just don't use they ever? No, that's obviously not what it is. It was them trying to clickbait their youngest daughter, Posey, at the time, having cancer. There is no other reason why they would title it "She Got Diagnosed with Cancer" and be so vague about it all, and let people panic for so long, and only reveal that Posey doesn't have cancer over 6 minutes into the video. Here's a great article that was released about it at the time. Influencer couple slammed after YouTube video implies 2-year-old has cancer as a way to raise awareness. The 42-minute long video sees Cole describe the numerous blood tests and doctor visits they undertook after their daughter began to show worrying symptoms. "I wasn't eating, I couldn't sleep, she had bruising on her legs like most kids do, but as you Google things, you can convince yourself." It's a full 6 minutes into the video when Posey's parents confirmed she wasn't diagnosed with cancer at all. Savannah and Cole claim that while waiting for their daughter's potential diagnosis, that they were inspired to do something in the fight against childhood cancer. The remainder of the clip features Cole visiting the parents of sick children, at least one of whom he gives an envelope apparently stuffed with $10,000 cash. Comments on the video have been disabled, but former fans have been taken to social media to express disgust with a misleading title and description. Here are some tweets here. "The Labrant family has been losing my respect for a while, but they really crossed the line with this one. How dare they use childhood cancer as fucking clickbait and spend the first 10 minutes talking like one of their kids has cancer? This is disgusting." Jeez, and you can see the original thumbnail here is like a whole family photo as well. It's not just the doctors with like a miscellaneous child. Yeah, this is very much, like, this is even more, this is worse than I thought. Not only did they do this, but they made it into a premiere with only this title, not to mention that the majority of their viewers are kids and probably got scared as fuck as the person who is an advocate for cancer and knows firsthand how awful it can be. I won't stand this. People are praising them for raising awareness, but to think about all the families who went through this, I feel heartbroken for them because their pain is being used for views. This video and title is such a trigger warning to so many people. I really wish they had some dignity and correctly titled and promoted this video to actually raise awareness instead of turning it into a joke. The video is great and very educational, but for all the wrong reasons. I did watch the video and the video is like fine, I guess, just on its own. That is not something that can be said about the rest of their documentaries though, which are all filled with propaganda, but that doesn't make the way that they marketed it any less disgusting. Another called it absolutely appalling. If all you wanted to do was spread awareness, then title it something like a documentary on childhood cancer. Yeah, this is exactly what I said. To title it "She was diagnosed with cancer" and talk about your daughter is like very obviously in reference to your daughter. If it's about 3 families, why couldn't it be At the very least, like, they got diagnosed with cancer. And that can still be about your daughter, but it would have been better at least. Like, there's some plausible deniability there, maybe. The Labrant family situation is absolutely appalling. How dare you use a clickbaity title and then act so shocked and then deny that you never meant to scare anyone? If all you wanted to do was spread awareness and title it something like a documentary on childhood cancer, you're gross. One also kind of humorous thing that I want to point out here is the names of their first 3 children. US couple Savannah and Cole Labrant have cultivated a massive following online by sharing their lives along with those of their 3 children, Everly, 8, Posey, 2, and Zealand, 1. I love this because Everly is like a perfectly nice and lovely name, right? And just coincidentally, that's the only kid that they had when they weren't influencers. That's the most normal name. Then we get Posey, which is like, okay, never heard that name before, but I can hear it. It's kind of name-ish, no problem. And, you know, they were influencers, but they weren't as famous as that. Then they get really famous and they start naming their kid fucking Zealand. It's like, all right, now you're taking the piss. You're taking the piss, guys. Can we just chill out? And then you learn that the kid after Zealand that was called Sunday. Sunday. Come on, dude. Like, these people really aren't helping the case for fucking influencers giving their children the shittest names. Motherfucking Sunday. Like, dude, just... What's wrong with Isabel? I love that name. Really, I think I've mentioned on this channel how much I love that name, actually. I think it's a really pretty name. Big up all the Isabels watching this video. And also big up the dog from Animal Crossing. To add insult to injury, I remember after they received justified pushback for their clickbait on this video, Cole went on his Insta story basically claiming that they weren't making Posey the scapegoat for their thumbnail, and it's not in our hearts to be dishonest, essentially gaslighting their fans for being reasonably pissed at them for scaring them like that. Yeah, I don't know what Cole expected when she titled the video, "She Has Cancer." Like, we know what he expected. He's lying. He's lying. That's obviously what the intent was here. Okay, next in the channel's history was them allegedly exploiting the California wildfires for views. Now, this was in 2018, I believe. Yeah, and anyone who's been around for, I'm sure statistically, you all remember how bad these fucking fires were. Now, I'm just going to play the intro of the video where they evacuate because of the wildfires. I've not edited this out. This is a real intro. This is how the video actually fucking starts.
Pray for everything going on out here in California. There's always wildfires going on, but I believe that this is the biggest one to ever happen in California history. I saw that on some news site, so we didn't realize how crazy the fires really got. Sorry, I'm recording this on my phone.
People died. There were hundreds of injuries, unimaginable amounts of destruction from these wildfires. And that's the fucking intro that you want to start. Look at this. What is that? Why is a shot like this in the fucking leaving your wildfire video? Like, this is insane. This is a fucking insane way to start a video. And I understand that the excuse is very likely going to be something along the lines of, well, we start all our videos like that, and this is just one of our videos, eh? And it's like, yeah, true. But if I was making a video on like a very serious political subject, or a video that, I don't know, was triggering for a lot of people, or just a bit more of a serious tone video to begin with, I probably wouldn't start it the same way that I start all my videos, by threatening you all with a, like, I don't know, some sort of ultimatum. So if I start a video, I just want to, this was a bit more serious one. I'm going to talk about the very devastating and tragic death of James McJimbo. But before that, be sure to subscribe to the channel before I shove this fucking water bottle up your, you know, because that's what I usually do. However, I would have the courtesy to break formula for a video like that. Yeah, if I was making a video on these wildfires at the time, I would not do that to intro it. This water bottle would not be used to keister anybody.
So we got Everly with us now. We just picked her up from her grandma. So, hey, you know that we're leaving the fire, right? We're going far, far away.
We're going away from the fire so you don't have to be scared anymore. Yeah.
A pair of famous YouTubers are being called out after claiming they had to leave their California home due to the area's wildfires.
Those aren't clouds. We don't have clouds in California. That is the fire. So as you guys can tell since the last time I recorded, it's gotten a lot closer. I think it's what, like 4 miles away.
Yeah. Cole and Savannah Labrant are known for their videos that often feature their 5-year-old daughter. They recently posted this video to their 6.7 million subscribers, titled, "We Left Our House Because of Fires in California."
I'm just doing this just in case if we do have to evacuate or our home gets burned down, we have it. Our home's still here.
It documents the couple, as they say, fleeing the wildfires that are blazing across the state.
It smells like fire. It smells like there's like 1,000 people smoking cigarettes out here.
But people aren't so sure of the couple's alleged story. Neighbors say the area where the couple lives wasn't evacuated and are suggesting Cole and Savannah are trying to profit from the devastating blaze.
Are you still pregnant? Are you still pregnant?
Yeah, I'm still pregnant.
Are you still
Others
pregnant?
defending the couple say they packed up because Sav is pregnant. The holy fire started in the beginning of August. Officials are still unsure as to how it happened, and it spread to more than 22,000 acres across the state. Officials say it is now 93% contained and expect it to be fully contained by September 1st. Inside Edition reached out to the Labrants for comment, but have yet to hear back.
Yeah, obviously, like, you're not gonna fucking hear back. I always love when Inside, like, people do that shit. Obviously, you're not gonna hear back from them, you idiots. You know what it is? Even just the jovial way that they're sort of explaining it with a big dumb smile on their faces whilst people die around them, and they're making this whole, like, vlog about it, which in my mind, like, I don't think it is unfair to say that they're exploiting the tragedy for views, right? That's like, I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you there. Because in my mind, it's like, this year in March, there was a big fire in Glasgow. It was quite a famous one in the UK at least. This was back when I still lived in Glasgow, of course. A vape shop, one of the vapes in a vape shop actually like caused a big fire. It was destroying historical buildings that had fucking survived 2 world wars, but fuck it, they couldn't live. A vape destroyed them. They've been through so much history only to get thwarted by a fucking vape. Couple of small businesses as well. It was quite sad. No deaths though. No one died. I don't think anyone was even injured, luckily. There was like a big billboard that fell down and that rang a couple 100 meters. It was pretty loud, pretty scary. And the whole city smelt of fire for a few days as well. That was also pretty eerie. But no one died. Like, it was nowhere near as damaging as these wildfires were. Like, not even close. However, the thought of making a jovial video about it really would have felt odd to me. Like, I don't think I could have brought myself to do it. It was terrifying. Like, it was really scary. Obviously in the midst of it, but the day after we're not really like shook up by it no more, but as it's happening it's really scary because we're uncertain where it's gonna go or if people are gonna end up dying. Obviously I had my girlfriend at the time, she was at work as well, like right near the fire. So to make a video and especially to intro the video the way that they did in theirs, it's like that, God, I couldn't even imagine. People say YouTubers Cole and Sav faked an evacuation during a fire for a vlog. Yeah, this is one thing that a lot of people have been saying, or were saying at the time, is that they didn't actually even need to evacuate and they were faking one just to go on a wee holiday and make a vlog out of it, right? To put it in the title. Some people use, I don't know, Ashley Trevino for views, and some people use a national disaster for views. I mean, some may say that Ash Trevino is a national disaster, but whatever, you get my point. I just think it's really sad they would exploit a situation that's as serious as a fire that so many people were evacuated just so that they could get more views or likes or hits on their channel. Cole Labrant, his wife Savannah, and Savannah's daughter Everly are huge stars on social media. Each one of them has over 3 million Instagram followers and separate accounts, and their YouTube channel has over 6 million subscribers. What, does the daughter have over 3 million followers? Is that right? I didn't even need to type in Everly Labrant. I just typed in Everly Instagram and I found it. And yeah, sure enough, 4.7 million followers. Yeah, pretty fucking wild. This is pretty suspicious here. Cole in the vlog then shows a view of smoke from his roof. He tells viewers that the fire is like 4 miles away and they just got an evacuation thing, which is pretty vague. Like, I don't know what that means, an evacuation thing. You'd think maybe a notice or like an alert or a notification, something like that, right? But according to the neighbors, people who live right next to these people, there was no such evacuation thing. So then it's like, okay, well, why would you lie about it then? Other than to justify you leaving, to justify this vlog existing, to justify you using it in the title and thumbnail. The couple then picks up Everly from her grandmother's house. Savannah tells Everly they are driving away from the fire so she doesn't have to be scared anymore. Everly's #1 fear is fires, Cole says. I mean, maybe that's true. It does seem a little bit convenient, but fucking whatever. The rest of the vlog shows the couple driving up to San Francisco, checking into a hotel and sightseeing. But now the video is being scrutinized by neighbors of the couple who say their area was never evacuated. The Labrants live in Ladera Ranch, California, according to public records, which is noted roughly by the star on the map below. The yellow outline shows where the holy fire burned, and then here's the graph here. The star, which is obviously a tiny bit away from the fires. Ladera Ranch is not one of the communities listed as an evacuated area for the holy fire, according to the National Wildfire Coordinating Group website. On August 12th, there were mandatory evacuations listed for Glen Eden, the Lake Elsinore Riverside Community, El Carrizo, Blue Jay, and Rancho Capistrano, with a voluntary evacuation for the community of Trinity. On August 13th, mandatory evacuations remained for El Carrizo, Blue Jay, and Rancho Capistrano along Highway 74. Neighbors of the couple told Fox 11 they were never evacuated and they found the couple's video upsetting. I just think it's really sad they would exploit a situation that's as serious as a fire that so many people are evacuated just so they get more likes or more hits on their channel, one neighbor told Fox 11. Another neighbor expressed disgust at the thumbnail image for the video, which has since been changed. Oh my god. I did not realize that this was the original thumbnail for the video. That does make it a lot worse, to be fair. Because it's like they literally got the fucking daughter. It's like, oh, Everly, little child, can you please just pose as though you're fucking terrified for your life, please? And then we'll get a PNG of the horrific fires behind us. It's like, this is literally exploiting the tragedy for views. You are marketing it. This is horrible. This makes it so much more clear what the intention was, if the intro wasn't bad enough. I have friends who were evacuated, and it's a very scary situation, the unnamed Ladera Ranch resident said, so kind of making light of that I don't think is very proper. Savannah told BuzzFeed News the couple had no comment on the criticism. It's unclear when the video was filmed, but Cole posted to Instagram on August 11th that he took his wife to San Francisco to celebrate an anniversary. I took Savannah back to the spot where I asked her to be my girlfriend 2 years ago, he wrote. I had no idea in just 2 years this girl would become my wife. I'd move across the country for her, became a dad to her incredible kid, and get her pregnant with baby number 2. Crazy how God works. Can't wait to come back here in 2 more years and see what all has happened. People have also been calling the couple out online, saying they have no compassion or sympathy for fire victims. And yeah, that's pretty much the extent of the wildfire drama. I think that thumbnail is probably the most damning piece of evidence that they were just exploiting it for views and weren't actually fearful of their lives or the pregnancy or the child. Next, I want to talk about this quite infamous prank, I suppose, if you want to call it that, where, you'll never get, this is an epic prank, this one. They went to their daughter and they said, oh, we got rid of the dog's gone. And then the daughter was crying for a long time, and they went, oh, no, the dog's not really gone. And then they uploaded that for millions to see. Hundreds of millions to see. I'll just play this video, because there's a lot of issues I have with it. There's a lot of people in the comments of this video at the time who are saying, like, this is nothing. It's just a prank. Like, come on, what's the issue here? But no, I don't think so. Like I said earlier, it's like, I wouldn't even show my children online. I definitely wouldn't do it to the extent that they are, because I love and respect them and want the best for them. Let alone posting them online in extremely compromising and depressing situations where they are at their worst emotionally for hundreds of millions of people to see. Like, that's like a couple of extra layers of disrespect and disregard for the sanctity of your children, especially when they are unable to consent. It's like, imagine if your partner posted a video of you crying hysterically on their Instagram story without your consent. It would be fucking horrible if they did that. And that's just that's not even assuming that hundreds of millions of people are seeing it. That's just a regular ass Instagram story, a regular ass couple. It would still be horrible. That's the kind of thing you would do if you didn't love or respect your partner. So when you look at it through that lens, to do it to your own daughter in front of hundreds of millions of people when they are unable to consent to it happening, it doesn't really sound like you care that much or respect your children that much at all. And it makes the tweet about you not exploiting your children that much more fucking laughable.
Come here.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
Cole and Sav pranked their 4-year-old Everly into thinking she'd have to give away their beloved family.
But you can see, she's literally head down on the sofa. She doesn't want to be fucking filmed right now. She's so used to the camera being on her at all times, like all these people seeing her, that in this moment of distress, she doesn't want anyone looking at her face. She doesn't want anyone to see her cry. But you've still got these fucking weird bastards shoving the camera as close to this girl as they physically can get. It's really disturbing in my opinion. I do not vibe with this at all, and I don't think that it's not a big deal. I think this is pretty deep.
Come here.
What's the matter?
What's the matter?
And they're trying to provoke her still, like get her to talk. No, talk more, because we know the more you talk, the more you'll probably cry, because you really love this dog. It's like when really shitty, morally corrupt interviewers get an interviewee of theirs crying about like a family member, and they're like, oh yes, this is the moment I can pounce like a fucking viper. What did they mean to you? And they're like behind, like, this is what I've been dreaming of.
Cole and Sav pranked their 4-year-old Everly into
explain in great detail how you felt at their demise,
thinking she'd have to give away their beloved family dog, Carl.
We're giving Carl away to somebody else because we feel like we can't take good enough care of him at our house.
Well, by the time her mom Sav revealed this was all just an April Fool's prank.
So I mean, this is not a prank. This isn't a prank. There's no funny here. There's nothing funny about it. Is anyone really like hearty belly laughing, erupting into roars of like uncontrollable laughter at the sight of this little girl going through the trauma of thinking that their dog is going away for no apparent reason? On top of that, we can't take good care of her. That sort of leads her to believe that it's partially her fault too. So it's not even that the dog is going, it's like the dog is going and it's your fault. And again, she clearly doesn't want to be on camera, but they're forcing her in the fucking shot. She's not looking at the camera. It's just so sad, it's just so sad, man. She don't take it well, by the way. Like, she's not laughing after the prank is revealed. Again, that'll show later on.
The news made Everly so upset she refused to speak.
We're gonna let her give him away.
But then Sav finally whispers to her the whole thing is a joke. The family is widely known for their hijinks, but this time some people say the parents took this one too far, and they seem to know it.
too far?
We need to reflect on why would grown-ups put children in that situation, and how can such a situation disrupt important factors of child development, such as trust, attachment, predictability, consistency, security, safety.
Clinical psychologist Dr. Asmira Maker believes even though it was just an April Fool's joke,
We're keeping Carl.
she says it's important to understand just how fragile kids can be when it comes to these kinds of...
Look, she's crying even more now that it's been revealed to be a prank. That doesn't look like tears of joy. Like, she's just not happy. She doesn't want to be on camera right now, and the parents are smiling ear to fucking ear. It's just not a good prank. It's not a good prank if your child's crying at the end of it, this hysterically. You should not be manufacturing these mentally traumatic memories for your fucking child, dude. It's one thing. There are some situations where, like, a child crying over something that ended up not being a huge deal is funny, right? For sure. When I was a kid, I was a big fan of this I think it was a very British TV show called Noddy. I think it's a British show. I don't remember. Yeah, Noddy. Here's Noddy here. I don't know how popular Noddy is nowadays, but when I was a kid, he was all the rage, man. Oh god, this does not age as well as I thought it did. Look at the gollywogs. I don't remember the gollywogs looking like this. Oh no. Oh no. Fucking, oh Noddy, what have they done? Oh my god, Noddy, no! Noddy! Anyway, I went to London one day with my parents, and there was like a big guy in a Noddy costume, and I remember I was a kid, I loved Noddy so I was running up to him all excited to meet Noddy, and then he saw me from a distance and he starts running up to me as well, so we're running towards each other, but as I inch closer and closer to him, I think, oh my fucking god, there's a 7-foot Noddy. It looked like this, a little like this, and I was terrified. So as I'm running towards him, I turn around and I'm bawling, I start crying in pure terror, and I'm running away from him now, but he doesn't stop running after me, so people are like looking at this situation, and it looks as though a fucking 4-year-old is genuinely being chased down and attempted murder right now by a 7-foot man in a Noddy outfit, because I'm crying, I was bawling, man. Bro, it was fucking terrifying. But that's like a case of a kid crying that's like objectively funny, right? It's funny. It would be different though if my parents took me there knowing that my biggest fear was life-size Noddies. Like, that would just be cruel. And it would be especially cruel if they recorded my hysterics and then posted it for hundreds of millions of people to see.
Children who have situations like this may begin to feel, wow, the world could fall apart tomorrow. The sky could fall down. Good things in my life could suddenly be taken away from me. Bad things can happen. And is that really the message we want to be giving kids at such a young age?
Dr. Maker says kids should be able to feel safe at all times with their parents.
Is that really something you needed a clinical psychologist to tell you, that a child should probably feel safe when they're with their parents? I mean, the fact that's even a sentence that needed to be uttered in a video like this goes to show just how out of touch and fucking ridiculous this OG prank was. Like, if someone does something so distressing to their child that you need to remind them that the child should feel safe around you when you're their fucking parents, it probably wasn't a good move to do it and post it for everyone to see.
We want to make sure that children know they have control over their situation. We want to make sure that children know that they have good choices, and we want to make sure that children understand that grown-ups aren't going to create or foster anxiety-provoking situations for them.
By the end of the video, Everly seems to start to come back around after her father shows her a picture of another puppy they might get.
See, look how cute this little guy is. Imagine that little guy running around with Carl. Oh, I'd be so cute. Yeah, look how cute he is. That's pretty cute, isn't it?
He's smaller than Carl.
InsideEdition.com reached out to the Labrants, but have not yet received a response.
Yeah, again, they're not gonna fucking respond to you, Inside Edition. Come on. I don't know who they think they are, but God. That's the ambulance. Nice one. Yep, good. Go on. Come on, dude. How long are you gonna fucking ring for? Motherfucker. I don't know why I'm so angry. It's probably saving someone's life. Like, I need to chill the fuck out. Alright, off they go. Goodbye. To be honest though, I think this Dankyjabo recording session is more important than whoever's life is being saved, so, whatever. It's not even as though they were trying to do it for some altruistic reason, like, oh, we need to show our children that anything can go at any point and they need to value the things that they have. Like, we're teaching our kid to value the dog. It was just because they wanted to see their kid cry because they knew it would get a lot of views. I mean, I'm not sure that the latter or the former are any better than each other, to be honest, because of just how dumb they both are. But if it is the former, it's like there are way healthier ways to introduce a healthy amount of anxiety or loss into a child's life, which I do think think is important. I think, like, I don't know, putting your kid into sports or some sort of competition-based thing that is, like, controlled and structured. I think that's a great thing for most people. Sports is the obvious one because it teaches your child how to lose gracefully. So if not everything goes their way in the future, it's like, okay, this isn't new to me. I can do this, I can work through it, I can come back stronger. Or, I don't know, like an instrument or a skill or something like that, because that's like very good at teaching people not to take shortcuts, which is something that I've become a huge fan of, because I used to be a very big, how can I do this as quickly as possible? But now I'm very much like, let's enjoy the journey, because the journey is almost always the best part of actually learning the new skill. With all the failures and sort of bumps on the road and really frustrating stagnation points that you get to, you have to take it slow. You can't take shortcuts, because shortcuts draw blood, and it will come back to bite you in the arse eventually. Anyway, you caught me. I am stalling because we are about to get to, without doubt, the worst part of this video, in my opinion. The abortion documentary. This video is titled Abortion Documentary. See, they learned a little bit from their last horrible documentary where they fucking did the cancer bullshit. So at least they didn't title it like "She Had an Abortion" in reference to their 14-year-old child. That would have been pretty bad.
Abortion has been arguably the most polarizing, heated, and controversial civil rights issue since 1973.
Yeah, and the fact that there's any truth to that, almost, it makes me want to fucking... This is why I'm an angry person. It's because there's too many stupid arseholes that actually make an argument against abortion. I think it's ridiculous. I'm one of these people that almost... I think I do actually believe that abortion isn't really about a care for babies. It's about a hatred for women. Because you'll hear loads of people say things like, oh, we need to prevent single mother households. They're really bad for the mothers and the children. It's like, yes, they are really bad for a lot of lower class or marginalized or oppressed communities. I agree with you. So how do we stop single mother households from being forced upon people? Well, the easiest way, probably, pretty standard, probably make sure that abortion is accessible for everyone. Oh no, we can't do that. We can't. Okay, so you don't really give a fuck about single mother households. You just want a reason to control women and shit on black people. Because when given an amazing potential partial solution to that problem, you immediately just dismiss it completely. Part of me doesn't like how I sound when I pull out like ultra woke isms, but I think it is so true. If men could get pregnant, abortion will be legal everywhere and it wouldn't even be a conversation.
Abortion was legalized in the US. There is so much passion on either side of the topic, and seems to be no middle ground and virtually no humane conversations. So much anger and so much hate. In the midst of it all, we truly believe that love is the answer. Instead of pro-life or pro-choice, is it possible for us to be pro-love?
Oh, but what the?
Is it possible?
What is this, man? Whenever I watched this before this video, like, I recorded. Well, actually, to be honest, I watched this yesterday because I tried to record this video. It's a 3-hour-long fucking recording, and my stupid self wasn't fucking recording. It was horrible.
Possible for us to love both the mother.
Tell you what though, this stupid shit does not make it any, like, easier. This fucking dumbass document. It's just propaganda, really.
Maybe the answer.
Oh my god. Fuck off. Showing the genocide number. The Rwandan genocide. This is some Charlie Kirk bull. This is legit the exact same shit Charlie Kirk said about the abortions being worse than the Holocaust. Absolutely it is. In fact, it's worse. It's worse. That's 9 million babies. That's exactly how he fucking sounded. That's exactly how he sounds in that clip. I need to find this fucking clip. Absolutely I am. In fact, it's worse.
Under the guise of saying they're unwanted. That's how we get Auschwitz. That's how we get the greatest horrors of the 20th century. Those people are unwanted.
So you're comparing abortion to the Holocaust?
Absolutely I am. In fact, it's worse. It's worse.
It's really not. I don't think
it's 45 million babies. It's nearly 8 times worse than the Holocaust. What's the moral difference between a small baby in the womb and a grown Jew who was killed at Auschwitz.
Yeah, don't worry, I can sort of jump in and answer this one for you. So, like a 1-week-old fetus, for example, is about as sentient as a fucking watermelon, whereas a fully grown Jew obviously has human sentience as we know it and is comparable to every living human being generally that's ever existed. Also has, you know, a central nervous system and a brain that can think and consciousness and sentience and all the above. I don't know if you guys can hear this. There is someone fucking yelling outside. Like I don't know what is going on over there. Can they hear me, or are they just fucking around? What is going on? Alright, now a kid's getting involved as well. Am I actually gonna have to look at, I'm gonna actually have to check what, okay, I'll be right back. Anyway, I'm back and it was nothing. There's also the fact that a fetus is like 9 months of inevitable trauma for the person that they are residing in. And on top of that, like, fuck 9 months, it's lifelong changes to their body that are like pretty universally seen as quite negative. Like how childbirth affects people's bodies cannot be understated. But again, I don't want this video to become like an abortion video. Charlie Kirk, innit? Did not expect him to be brought up here, but I guess we bull.
To love both the mother and the baby. Maybe the answer.
Yeah, show the genocides, show the Holocaust. Really great, nice propaganda this. This is very Charlie Kirk-esque in terms of it just being fascist propaganda.
Either or, but rather both.
Yes, abortion. Worse than any genocide ever! We on the right care so much about babies and young people, except for when Israel airstrike them and kill a school full of young girls. We don't care about those ones, but the unborn ones that literally have as much sentience as a fucking peanut, those are the ones we ought to protect.
You have yours. We're all so different, and that's okay. But where is God's heart at? Where is the truth and peace amidst all the chaos and lies? We want to go on a journey to find out the truth and to find out how we could actually...
This fucking religious fundamentalist bullshit is so dumb, dude. I despise it. I despise it to my core. It's my least favorite thing possibly ever. Anyway, Sav sort of jumps in here with some words of wisdom.
So what if you're watching this and you're thinking, should I keep my baby even though it's too hard? As a matter of fact, I was in that position. I was 19 when I got pregnant with Everly, and I remember just being so scared. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was actually in school, in college, and I was too scared to tell my family. I was too scared to tell my friends. It was just a lot for me to take in, being so young. I remember those moments just being so terrified of just like what the future would look like, what my life was gonna look like. Just so many things going through my head at that moment and just knowing how hard it was gonna be.
Okay, now just to be clear, this was a planned pregnancy. It's been admitted by both Savannah and the father of Everly, the biological father. This was a planned pregnancy. It's not like an accident. It did not just come around. This was planned. Obviously, it turns out that this guy was like a serial cheater, of course, and that is not ideal or at all, obviously. And in many cases is like, you know, good reason to have an abortion, although any reason's a good reason. There's, you know what, I'll get into this, right? You know what, I'll put it this way. There are plenty of reasons why someone might want to have an abortion, and the only thing that they all have in common is that none of them are my fucking business. Regardless, this is a planned pregnancy. The mother is already very financially well off. She's in a very good school. She's surrounded by family who are supporting her through it all. So obviously, even though it was planned and all this shit, being cheated on is very stressful, for sure. Like, it's bad, but let's not act as though you understand even a little bit what it's like to be someone who is in an impoverished part of the world, maybe a single mother household. Maybe they're 16 years old. They've not received proper sexual health education. They are nowhere near as financially well off as you are. When someone like that becomes pregnant, the onus to get an abortion, let's also say they're not in like a committed relationship at all, so it's not as though the father's going to be like a huge part of their life, which, you know, this kind of is why there are a lot of, or part of the reason why there's so many single parent households. Let's not act as though you understand even an iota of what someone like that might be going through and why they want to, and why they might want to get an abortion. Like, the two experiences do not link up at all. This is one thing. Oh, fuck me, man. It's just one thing that, like, rich people who grew up rich will never fucking understand. And they do this a lot, and it really annoys me. It really does. When middle-class people especially will, like, look down on poor people for not having escaped their poverty as time went on, or as they reach the end of their life, or end of their adulthood, right? Because they'll think, well, in today's world, in today's Western world, the American dream is possible, and if you work hard enough, you can escape poverty easily, so there's no excuse to stay in the same tax bracket bracket as you were as a child as an adult. However, if you're middle class and you start your life middle class and you end your life middle class, that is not seen anywhere near as as objectionable or looked down upon as someone who was born poor and remains poor. Even though escaping the cycle of poverty as someone who is poor is infinitely harder than going up a few classes or going up financially from middle class. Because if you are someone who has more money, who has more education, who has more of a support system around them, the ability for you to fuck up and still recover is so much more vast and wide and acceptable and efficient than someone who is a lot poorer, maybe in a single parent household, and doesn't have as much chances in life, right? In fact, this is the perfect example. This girl became pregnant at 19, but oh no, a really shitty thing has happened and their partner ends up being a serial cheater. So now they're stuck as a single mother. Now, when you come from ends or, I don't know, what do you call the projects over there, and you never really saw a great future for yourself to begin with, and you didn't really see yourself going to university, and you don't really have that much of a support group around you. You have a couple of friends, sure, but they're not the right friends. You're around a bad crowd. That mistake, that one negative experience there, sort of fucks everything up for you. And the chance of recovery, the chance of making something out of yourself and achieving the dreams that you very much had as a child, or breaking the cycle of poverty now that there's this child in your life and no husband, no one to take care of it with you, when you were already struggling so much, it's incredibly fucking difficult and traumatizing to an extent that I will never be able to imagine ever. However, when you're someone like Savannah Labrant here, that exact same scenario happening to you is nowhere near as life-changing as it would be to someone in a situation like that. Because when you are in a better position, socio-economically, you have a lot more chances to fuck up without it being a huge detriment to your life. And just to be clear, like I said before, even if you are in that kind of very privileged socioeconomic position and you become pregnant, even if you're in a great relationship and you still want an abortion, fucking go for it. And do not feel bad for even a second. In my mind, in my honest opinion, there is not one even slightly reasonable argument against abortion. There's not one good pro-life argument.
But ultimately, in the end, how worth it was going to be, looking back now, I know for me personally, my choice was always to keep my baby, but I also know that for others, there are choices.
Don't lose heart, is strength.
Okay, yeah, then they show some really dumbass home footage video shit, and then they get a doctor.
Abortions happen every day.
Every day in America, 100 people die.
People die in car accidents, people die, but the way that people die the most every day is abortions.
1,300 people die from smoking. 1,800 people die from heart disease, the leading cause of death in the US, according to the CDC.
The leading cause of death, okay, so that's the leading cause of death in the US, right? So we all know what leading cause means, right? It means that there can be no cause of death higher than that, right? So I think we can all agree it'd be pretty fucking stupid if they make the claim that there's actually a more leading cause of death, a leadinger cause.
But there's another, even more deadly killer than heart disease.
No, that doesn't make sense. Heart disease is the leading cause of death. There can't be a more deadly, a more leading cause.
By definition, abortion is when a pregnancy is ended so that it doesn't result in the birth of a child.
Well, IUDs do the exact same thing a lot of the time too. I don't see these people calling, IUD havers murderers.
So as we've been filming this documentary, we've been asked by our friends, by family, by mentors, why are we making this? There's so much at risk. Why are we even making this? Why are we adding flame to an already crazy burning fire?
Because you're propagandists.
And the answer is just, if one baby is saved from this, if one mom chooses to keep her baby from it, then it's all worth it.
Mm-hmm.
This documentary by no means is trying to illegalize abortion. After this documentary, you're still gonna have the choice.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have your choice. But I know that there's gonna be one mom watching.
Well, fucking obviously people will still have the choice after, well, they don't now in America. And in fact, in a democracy like the USA is, it's videos like this that do unironically affect people's methodology in terms of voting. You are trying to illegalize abortion. You're trying to sway people towards one political party that is a lot less sympathetic to why abortion should be legal.
And maybe 100, maybe 1,000, we have no idea the ripple effects.
But just for you guys to know all the resources out there, and also for us as a church, and just me and Cole even, just that how much more we need to be doing.
We want to go into this finding out what resources are available for women that you might not know about. Are there resources, you know, in your city? If not, is there something that the church should be doing, that you watching should be doing? Maybe you aren't pregnant. Maybe you aren't the one facing the question of whether I'm going to have an abortion or not, but you're thinking, what more can I do? How can I better help? How can I better stand with these women and for these women? So we're going into this thinking, how can we help more? What more can we do? And I'm excited to find out.
Yeah. So what happens during an abortion?
In private practice, I performed just under 1,200 abortions, including first and second trimester abortions up to 24 weeks of gestation.
So I feel like one of the most important questions.
Yeah, for those who don't know, 24 weeks is when it has been medically accepted that sentience begins, right? At least I believe so. There's obviously some, here we go, 24 weeks. Consciousness is not an on-off switch, but a gradual development. While basic sensory responses begin earlier, the brain structures required for conscious subjective experience, the connections between the thalamus and the cortex, are generally not in place until around 24 weeks of gestation. Now, obviously, there is some debate here for sure, but that is the generally accepted medical opinion. And again, just to be clear, until the point where this ability for sentience and consciousness begins, the baby is about as sentient as any inanimate object that doesn't have, again, to use this water bottle as an example, about as sentient as this water bottle. So whilst, yes, although life does begin at conception, and the termination of said life is, you know, the ending of the life, it's about as harmful to humanity as plucking a fucking carrot out of the ground would be. That's also the end to a life, right? Carrots are life, but they're not sentient. There's no human experience there. You're ending the life, but who the fuck cares?
Important questions that everybody asks is, when does life begin? And if we had a direct answer, then I feel like this wouldn't even be a conversation, because if...
no, it would still be a conversation, because it doesn't matter when life begins. It's not about when life begins. Human sentience begins 24 weeks in. Before that point, especially at conception or whatever, it is just 23 chromosomes from the dad, 23 chromosomes from the mum, combining to make 46 chromosomes, right? To make the exact point of combination the arbitrary moment where human life exists and ought to be protected at any means necessary or by any means necessary, even to the point where if a 14-year-old gets fucking raped, they need to be forced to carry out this baby and cause lifelong trauma to their body, as well as all the other traumas that come with carrying said baby. It's like, why? Why that point? Because at that point, the fetus is just as sentient as the fucking sperm or egg was. It's only 24 weeks in, generally, medically accepted-wise, that sentience actually begins humanity-wise. So, if you want to make the argument that at 24 weeks, we need to start, I don't know, treating it as though we treat any other baby, then we can have a conversation there. But at any point during the first trimester especially, you're insane. You're insane if you think that that is like on the same level as an actual living, breathing human baby. That's like, you know, 1 or 2 years old. Or just, I don't know, a living human in general.
We could all agree that life began at a certain point, then abortion should be allowed before that point and not allowed after. In your professional opinion, when would you say life begins?
It's such a simple question with such a complicated answer. A human egg is fertilized by a sperm, and that is a single-cell organism that has a unique genetic makeup. That is the first. So at fertilization, you have a living cell that has that unique genetic pattern. So on that basis, human life begins at fertilization.
Yeah.
But a lot happens after that. It gets complicated, but I really do believe that a human life, that individual human being with that unique genetic signature starts at fertilization. People think of doctors as so smart. We're no different than anyone else. When you figure out here, not here, that killing a baby this big for money is wrong, it doesn't take you too long to figure out It doesn't matter if the baby is this big or even this big. It's all the same.
I love what Dr. Levatino said, that whenever we start saying like, at what size is it a human baby? It's like, well, what size is a human?
But didn't he carry out 12,000 abortions? Or 1,200 from what was said earlier? So lock this fucker up. He's worse than he's the worst serial killer on the fucking planet, in human history, in fact. Is that really, if you really see the murder of a fetus as the same, like, moral value as murder of, like, a baby or a human being, like a fully developed human being, then why are we treating him with any amount of sympathy? The guy murdered 1,200 fucking people. Maybe it's because we don't actually place the same amount of moral value on a fetus who is unsentient that we do a normal, breathing, fully developed human being. It's like the most simple question, like, would you rather save 10 fetuses or 1 baby? The answer is fucking obvious, and if it's not, you're an actual you're an actual crazy person, you're a psychopath! Anyway, they do a bunch of, like, other shit in this documentary that we're just not gonna watch. We're not watching the whole thing. We're gonna watch some, like, a wee little overview, sort of summary on TikTok, because there's a great TikToker that made, like, a wee summary on it a while ago that I want to look at. Not for too long, though, of course. If you want me to watch the entire documentary, maybe I'll do that on Shepherd Boy if I get enough buzz for it. I'll see how you guys feel about that. When I get back into streaming as well. I've been off it for a while. Again, that fucking faux recording yesterday really put me off. The sort of thing where you just want to quit the entire job. But we're back at it now. Also, I can't lie, the heat wave is But whatever, man, I gotta get the ball rolling.
Labrant Family Scandals Part 27. Let's get into this. Let's talk about what was in the abortion documentary. Let's start off with the misleading information that was in the documentary, right? It said that abortion is a more deadly killer than heart disease, which is a leading cause of death. So how does that work? How is it more deadly than something that's a misleading cause? Like, that doesn't make, it's not adding up, right? Oh, and guess what? They didn't cite a source of statistic. Just basic, documentary rules, right? If you have a statistic, you cite it, right? But here's a statistic for those who actually like, research, sources, facts, right? So according to the latest available data from the CDC, there are about 625,000 abortions, right? In the year 2019, so probably went up because it's 2022, right? Okay, but look, that number is higher than 625,000, correct? Yes, if you can do math, right?
So it wasn't even true. I mean, not that it would have mattered even if it was true, but they didn't even fucking get they didn't even get the information correct.
Labrant Family Scandals Part 28. Let's get into this. Part 2 of an in-depth summary of what this documentary is about.
She's right as well. There were no, like, when you look at the description, there's no sources for any of the shit that they say. And there's no studies or anything cited at any point. Yeah, it's just so fucking shoddy, dude.
As I was saying in my last video, there's a 34,000 difference between the amount of abortions and the amount of people that die from heart disease, and they did not give any sources for that particular assumption or a statement that they made. And as the video starts, right, about a minute into it, they show a slideshow of the death counts from various genocides throughout history, such as the Rwandan genocide in the 90s and the Cambodian genocide, which was in the late 1970s. And I don't know why they're trying to do a comparison to those genocides, horrific genocides. People were killed, raped, and not to mention one of the biggest genocides they used in this, the Holocaust.
Well, it's good to know that the Labrant family think that every rape victim during that genocide who was impregnated should be forced to carry out their rapist baby, eh? Really godly family, that. Really great values that you're teaching your audience, the hundreds of millions.
Labrant Family Scandals Part 29, let's get to this. Part 3, you're talking about this documentary. In the video, there are also interviews from well-known anti-abortion activists, Dr. Anthony Levatino and Dr. Kathy Altman, who describe in graphic detail the process of performing abortion. And this is to their family channel, just keep that in mind. Also, the comment section has just been disabled, but people on Twitter are not holding back from criticizing this video. And it's like, this implies that it's worse than the Holocaust. Like, how can you do that? Twitter, always good for calling people out. Oh, and that tweet as well, just pause to read.
Oh my fucking... Okay, so he genuinely does just go full Kirk mode. A purported 2018 tweet from Cole also resurfaced on Twitter. While it seems to have been deleted, a screenshot of the message appears to show Cole saying he would strongly encourage his daughter to have a baby if she were to become pregnant as a result of rape. This was 2018. Everly would have been... what, 8 years old at this point? She would have been 5 years old at the time of that tweet. I don't think I want to talk about the abortion stuff anymore. In fact, I think we're probably done with this video. There's obviously so much more to talk about in regards to the Labrant family. So maybe I'll do another video on these people if I get enough comments asking for it, I guess. Because trust me, we've maybe covered about 10% of like what we could be talking about in regards to the Labrant family. For now, though, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Because I'm burnt out now. I'm done and I want to sleep. But with all that being said, hopefully you all enjoyed the video, of course. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment as well. I'll catch you on the next one, hopefully. So yeah, fuck yeah.